Okay. So yeah, we were writing the points. Okay. Okay. So we wrote 2 points, right? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the third point is like this was your graph, right? So now your third point. Third point is the investment curve will be straight line parallel to x-axis as it is not affected by change in income level. So you can see your investment curve is straight line, right? And it is, see, this is your x-axis, right? And this one is your y-axis, okay? So your investment curve is somewhere parallel to x-axis. Got the point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if someone will ask you, this comes directly, like this question comes directly, so mark it star, that they ask you, first they ask you, your x-axis is parallel to your investment curve is parallel to x-axis or y-axis. So you can say your investment curve is parallel to x-axis, and now they will ask you why. So why? Because your investment is not being affected by income level, right? Whether you are earning 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, your investment will be same. Your investment will be 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, right? So what reason will you write? Because investment is not being affected by the income. That's why your income, this investment curve is parallel to x-axis. Got the point?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Good. Now next one is consumption will be positive even at zero level of income as the minimum level of consumption is done for survival. So you can see that consumption also is not starting from zero, right? It is starting from maybe 1, 2, 3, anywhere, right? But why it will not start from zero? Because you also know that consumption, whether you are earning or not, whether your income is 0, 10, 20, but you will consume, right? Of course, if I'm not earning, so I will be somewhere, demanding for food. I will be somewhere demanding for water, clothes, right? So you will be consuming something. So that's why your consumption is not going to start from zero, right? And next thing is that your consumption, you can also say that see, the thing which is not being affected by income, that is known as autonomous. Okay, so somewhere you can say this is autonomous consumption, right? Because consumption is not the starting one I'm talking about. From here onwards, it is being affected by income, but the basic consumption, that is not affected by income. Why? Because if your income is zero, but still you are demanding. So this one is your consumption, which is your, you can say this first point is, first consumption is your autonomous consumption. And after that, of course, it is being affected by income. See, you can see over 0, still you have 20. Sorry, still you have 20, right? So this first one is your autonomous consumption. Okay. And after that, you can see it is being affected by income. It is rising, so it is also rising, right? But the first one, you can say it is 0, but your consumption is not 0. That means it is not being affected by income. So you will say this is your autonomous consumption. And if someone will ask you why your autonomous consumption is not 0, why it is not starting from 0, you will directly state that no matter what the situation is, of course you will demand. Of course, you are not going to ask for luxury things if you are not earning, but the basic necessary things you definitely need, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. See, income, it is like not affected entirely. It is not being affected. So entire income is your autonomous investment. But the consumption, the only first one is autonomous because you can say it is 0, but still you are consuming something. So first one is autonomous consumption and the rest one is only consumption. Okay. Now, the slope of consumption curve is positive, which shows that income increases, consumption also increases. So in the previous one, like when I was teaching you few things, there we did 2 curves, right? One was your demand and income, one was your price and income. So demand and income, you can check your notes, it was like this, right? And for price and income, it was like this. So it states that if your income will rise, your demand will also rise. Okay, but here it was like if your price will rise, your demand will fall. So you can say it was negative. right? But it was positive. So the one who is going upward, that is always positive, but the one who is going downward, it is always negative. Clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next, the slope of consumption curve is positive, which shows that when income increases, consumption also increases. You can see consumption curve is going upward. So that means it is a positive one. Now, next thing is that the starting point of AD curve is above 0. You can see your AD is also being starting from here. It is not being starting from 0, right? So the starting point of AD curve is above 0 as there is always minimum level of consumption and investment in the economy. So you know that AD is equals to C plus I. So you know your AD, why your AD is not starting from 0? Because see, you will consume something, right? Whether 1, whether 2, 3, you will consume. Plus there will be some investment, maybe 0.5, maybe 1, whatever it is. Because investment is autonomous. It does not affect with income. So you are consuming something, maybe little one, but you are consuming. So aggregate demand cannot be 0 because you will consume something plus you will invest something. So that's why your aggregate demand is not going to be 0. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you will quickly write the point 3, 4, 5, and 6. First write 3 and 4, then I'll scroll for 5 and 6.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, teacher.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now we are going to do the next thing, which is your aggregate supply. Okay. So wait a minute. Now, ma'am, what is aggregate supply? Okay. So meaning of aggregate supply. So aggregate supply is the value of all final goods and services that all producers are that all the producer are planning to supply over a given period of time. Okay. See, when we were doing demand, right? When we were doing demand, what we said that whatever, for example, these people are demanding, right? So their demand is equals to expenditure, because if I'm demanding 4 chocolate, that means I'm ready to expend my 40 rupees on that chocolate, right? So demand is somewhere equals to expenditure. And who do demand? Consumer do demand, right? But now talking about supply, right? Demand and supply are opposite thing. Who do supply? Producers, right? And when, for example, if I am supplying chocolates, right? I am supplying chocolates. So what if I sell those? If I sell those chocolate, what I will get? I will get money, right? And that money will be my income, right? So demand, consumer, like demand, who demands? Consumer. And whenever you are demanding, that is equals to your expenditure, right? But now talking about supply, who supplies? Producer supplies. And when producer supplies, in return he gets money, and that money is known as income, right? So see, earlier we were comparing that your aggregate demand is equals to expenditure. So either you can say aggregate demand or you can say expenditure, right? But now you are comparing two more things, which is your supply and your income, right? So supply means if you are supplying something, in return you will get the money, right? And that money is known as income. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Jainab, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Just remember one thing, income is always denoted by Y. Okay, investment, you can say that, ma'am, why we are not denoting income with this I. You already know investment is denoted by I, so you cannot denote income with I. So it is Y, because income is your money, right? MENOY. So this last letter Y is used to denote income. Okay.
Teacher, can you explain supply again?
Sorry, which one?
Check.
Supply? Okay, okay, yes. Okay, see, supply means you are supplying something. Okay, for example, I have a factory of clothes. I am supplying clothes. You came to me, this is my factory, this is me. I am supplying the clothes. Okay, so Aditya, you came to me and you bought 2 t-shirts from me. Okay, in return, you gave me 100 rupees. Okay, so I got this because I was supplying, right? So I got that money, and that money was my income, right? That money was my salary. Because if I am doing something, in return I'm get money, so that is my income, right? So I can say whatever I will supply, like if I'm selling two, if I'm supplying 2 t-shirts to you, I got 100 rupees. If I supply 4, I will get 200. So whatever I will supply, in return I will get that money, and that money is going to be my income, right? So you can say supply is, earlier you were comparing aggregate demand is your expenditure, because if you are demanding something, that means you are ready to pay that amount. But here, if I'm supplying something, I should be ready to receive the amount, and that amount will be my income. Because if I am doing a business, that means my only income is that business. From that income only I will earn, right? So supply equals to your income. Clear? And one more thing which I told, that income is denoted by Y. So now you will ask me, ma'am, why not we are denoting income with I? Right? Why with Y? So see, investment is denoted by I, which we did in the 4 components, right? So income is basically MONEY. So this last letter, Y, that's why income is denoted by Y. Now it's clear, Aditya?
Yes, teacher.
So I'm just giving you 2 hints which you have to remember for entire time period. Okay. Those hints are Just remember who is demanding. Demand is done by and supply is done by whom? Okay, so demand is basically done by consumers. Okay, and supply is being done by producers. Okay, and when you consume something, that means you are going to spend money. Only then you can eat. For example, you want to eat chocolate, you have to do expenditure. But if you are producing something, in return you will get money and you will generate income. Clear? So you can make a box and you can write it over here like this. Before starting aggregate demand, just write demand equals to consumer, and what consumer do? Make a arrow expenditure. Supply equals to supply who do, just don't write equals to, just make a arrow. Demand is done by consumer and in return consumer do expenditure. But supply is done by producer and in return producer gets income. Quickly write it down, then we'll start with aggregate demand. Aggregate supply.
Ma'am will not write the meaning of aggregate supply.
Yeah, we will write, but this is a box. Just before starting aggregate supply, just make a box so that you can get an idea. Rough
Yeah, I
idea.
wrote.
Others wrote, written.
Yes, ma'am.
Aditya written.
Yes, teacher.
Now, basically, first meaning of aggregate supply. So, ma'am, what is aggregate supply? Aggregate supply is the value of all final goods and services that all producers are planning to supply over a period of time. Or you can write during an accounting year. That we did in the during an accounting year. Okay. Now, as I already mentioned, that aggregate supply is equals to Y, right? And Y is in bracket, you will write income. Okay, so your aggregate supply is equals to income. Now the question is, how can you say that aggregate supply is equals to income? So the answer is here. Output means, for example, I was producing clothes. So I produced 4 clothes, 4 dresses maybe, right? So output produced in an economy is always equals to income generated. Aggregate supply is equals to all final goods and services produced in an economy, which is equals to the national income. So that's why you can say that aggregate supply is equals to your income. Clear? Sometimes you get a question like, how can you say that aggregate supply is also known as income, is equals to income? So this is the answer for that. Okay. So first you will write both the things. First write meaning of aggregate supply, hashtag aggregate supply, and then hashtag aggregate supply equals to Y. So how? This.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Jainab, done?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you already know aggregate demand equals to output, and output is somewhere equals to your Y, which is your income. Okay. So aggregate supply equals to output. What you are producing equals to your income. Whatever you will produce, that will be your income. And your income is equals to aggregate supply. Now, next topic will be your components of aggregate supply. Okay. So you can say, see, sometimes you can write it like this. National income, which is your income basically. Y equals to C plus S. See, when we were doing aggregate demand, there the components were two in model. What we were doing, we were taking two, C and I, right? But over here, like in national, like in supply part, aggregate supply, you will take two components, which will be your C plus your S, which is your savings. Okay. So what if someone will ask you what are the components of aggregate supply, you will say consumption plus savings. Okay. If I'll ask you like explain, tell me the components of aggregate demand, you will say consumption plus investment. But for aggregate supply, you will say consumption plus savings. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain again?
Okay. See, when we were doing aggregate demand, what were the components? Like when we were writing AD equals to in two sector model, what we were writing AD equals to C
C
plus I.
plus I.
Yes. But here we will write AS, which is your aggregate supply, C plus S. C is consumption and S is your savings. Okay. But here you can either write it like this or you can write it like this. Y equals to C plus S, because you know aggregate supply is equals to your income. So instead of writing aggregate supply, you can write Y equals to C plus S. So C and S. If I'll ask you the components of aggregate supply, so you will say what are the components? Consumption plus savings, right? You won't be saying consumption plus investment, because consumption plus investment are the components of aggregate demand, not for aggregate supply. Clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, good. This consumption and savings are the two components of aggregate supply. So you can either write it like this: aggregate supply equals to C plus S, which where C is your consumption and S is your saving, like this one. So basically, you have two formulas for aggregate supply: AS equals to C plus S or Y equals to C plus S. Okay. So now, how you will make your notes? You will make your notes like this. Wait. So you will write first this aggregate supply equals to output equals to income, and then Y equals to aggregate supply. Then hashtag components of aggregate supply. Then you will write consumption and savings are the two components of aggregate supply. Don't write it. Don't write it here. I'll just tell you when you have to write. Just first write hashtag components of aggregate supply. These two. From here, first, second, then hashtag components, then these two. Quickly, then I'll tell you what to write.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now, after this, you will write this. Wait. First, you will write y equals to c plus s. Okay, and here where y equals to income, c equals to consumption, and s equals to saving. Okay, and after that, you will write this. Aggregate supply equals to c plus s, and you will write it in box. Okay, and then where c equals to c equals to consumption and s equals to savings. Clear? First this, and the second one will be this, and then where as equals to aggregate supply, c equals to whatever it is, s equals to it is. Clear? So you will write first and second. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
So I hope you have your pencil, eraser, scale with you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Others, Aditya and Jana, you have?
Yeah, ma'am.
Aditya,
Teacher, what did you say?
you have your pencil, eraser, scale with you?
Yeah.
Because for this entire chapter you need it, so you need to bring it regularly. Okay. Now the same thing what we did in the aggregate demand, like the table. So you will write this is your schedule for aggregate demand, aggregate supply. So national income, consumption, but over there it was investment, but over here it is savings. Okay, so you can say 0, 10, 20 this, and consumption 20, 25, 30 savings. See, don't write it right now. I'm just explaining you why it is important, like why it is minus 20. See, for example, you are not earning anything, right? So at that moment, you obviously, for example, you were saving something. You were saving, you had 100 rupees in your bank account. Okay, so you will be using it, right? So it is minus 20. So you are not doing any savings. You are taking out it, like taking your money out of that from your savings, right? So that's why it is minus 20. Okay, because you want to consume something, right? So from this 100 rupees, you took out 20 rupees minus 20 so that you can consume something. Clear? First one?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So see, now, then slowly your income rises. Now it is 10 rupees. So again, you will consume 25. But see, earlier you were like, for example, your income, you started earning, but it is not like that now you will be a billionaire, right? So somewhere you will be slowly start saving. So now it is minus 15. Okay, because see, 10 you are getting it from here, right? But you are consuming 25. So 10 you are getting it from your income, but rest 15 you will be taking it out from your savings. Clear? So it will be 10 plus 15 will be your 25. Getting the point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now your income is 20, but your consumption is 30. So you have 20. but you need extra 10 to complete this 30. So again, you took it out from your savings. Clear? Now next, okay, now next is 30. So now it is your 35, right? So again, you have 30, but you need extra 5. So from where you will take? You will take it from your savings. Clear? Now 40, 40. So of course, both are equal. So now you don't need any, you can say saving. You don't need any money from your savings. So it is 0. But now it is 50. So it is 45. So extra 5 rupees are leaving, right? You are only consuming 45 out of 50. So you will save this 5 rupees. Okay. When it is 60, then you will consume 50. So you are like, you have 10 rupees. So you will save those 10 rupees. Got this?
Yes,
teacher.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now see, in exam hall, I won't be giving you the table. You have to draw your table on your own, right? So now how you will remember this? Like, ma'am, how we will remember this? So wait, I'll just tell you how you're going to remember it. Okay. So see, first income is very much simple. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then consumption, 10, you just have to just keep a difference of 5. 20, 25, 30, 35 like this. Okay. And saving, you know, your income is 0. So of course you will be taking 20. If you are consuming 20, so you need this. And here you will be, somewhere adding 5. Here you are adding, both of them need 5, 5, 5. But you can say it is minus 20. So it is like minus 20 plus 5. So it is minus 15. Got it?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here you will add 5, 5, 5 for the consumption. Then here also you will add 5, 5, 5. But remember one thing. What most of the students do, it is like they add 20 plus 5. No, it is minus 20. So you can say minus 20 plus 5. So plus minus minus. So answer will be 15. You are not going to add it. It is like minus. And who is bigger? 20 or 5?
20.
Yeah, this one is like a bigger number. So it is the sign will be like the person, like the like the numerical which is having the which is bigger than the other one, right? That the sign which he is posing, you will be putting that sign only. For example, it is minus 4 plus 9. Okay, so it is plus minus minus. So you are going to subtract it. So you got 5. But here you will put the sign of plus or minus.
Plus positive.
Plus.
Yes. Why? Because 9 is bigger than, greater than, you can not bigger than, greater than 4. So plus 5. Clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, okay, wait. So I will, and now coming to this one is clear. So here also, but just remember the first one, you can draw your entire table on your own. Now, see, your aggregate supply is C plus S. So 20, now it is C 20 plus minus 20, right? It is not 20 and 20. So you can say plus minus minus. So 20 minus 20 is your 0. Got the answer?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Aditya, getting it?
Yes.
Okay. Now again 25 plus minus 15. So plus minus minus. So that means 25 minus 15 is 10. Then 30 plus minus 10. So plus minus minus, it is 30 minus 10. Answer is 20. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay. So I won't be sharing my screen right now. You people will be drawing, making this on your own. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So
Okay, ma'am.
kindly draw it out. I'm just giving you the layout. Okay. This one will be your income. This one will be your consumption. This one will be your saving, and this one will be your AS. Okay. Your income will be 0, 10 till 50. You have to write. I think it's for 50 only. No, 60. Okay. Till 60 you have to make it. Okay. Dash dash dash. And here consumption, it is 20 and it is minus 20. So we will take 5 5 gap, and AS you can count. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So quickly draw it within 5 minutes.
Done, teacher.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now, see, you will get to know, just check your answer. Is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. Now you will get to what I told you people over here. Your aggregate supply is equals to your income. So can you check it? 0, 0, 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50. This is your income and this is your aggregate supply. So you can see that both of them are equal. Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now you will make a diagram like this, which is just a simple one. Wait. Actually, it's not clearly shown over here, so I'll just show this down. So you will just make it like this, okay? And it is like a 45-degree angle, okay? So this is your aggregate supply, and this is your national income. Okay, this is your AS. You just have to draw your AS. Okay. Now you can see your aggregate supply is starting from 0, right? Why? You can see because when you will not save anything, and from that saving you will consume. So of course your aggregate supply can be 0. But remember one thing, aggregate demand cannot be 0, but yes, aggregate supply can be 0. Why? Because when you are not earning anything, how you will save? How you will save? You will not save anything. You will take out the things from your savings and then you will use it. Okay. So just remember one thing, aggregate supply can be 0, right? But aggregate demands can never be 0. Got the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So you will draw it like this. Okay. This should be a 45-degree. Just remember, okay, because this is, of course, this one is 90 degrees. So it should be in between. Just make it like this, 45 degrees. And AS equals to Y. Just write it over here. And over here, you can write, here, you will like write it like this only. AS equals to C plus S. The formula. And over AS is like this. And this is your income. This one and this is your C plus S.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, teacher.
Oh, good. Now, see, there are few important points about aggregate supply which you need to remember. Okay. So, important concept. The slope of AS is positive as the level of income increases. Aggregate supply also increases. Remember one. You can see your supply curve is going upward. So, what does it mean? It is negative or is it positive?
Positive.
Yes. Why positive? Because it is going upward. So upward is always a positive mark. Okay. Until and unless it's not going downwards. Downward one is negative, but upward is always positive. So like by looking, of course, you have to explain this graph now. So important concept about aggregate supply, that slope of AS is positive as the level of income increases, aggregate supply also increases. So you can see as your income is increasing, your aggregate supply is also increasing, right? So you'll write hashtag important concept this.
Done, ma'am.
Done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, good. So students, basically we are done with aggregate demand. I hope now you know people what is aggregate demand, what is the slope of aggregate demand, everything, and plus the aggregate supply. See, you will be getting, you need to understand aggregate supply like the formula which we did, C plus S and all that. And of course the formula of aggregate demand as well, C plus I, this is the formula. And these are the formula, right? But in your text, it is like aggregate demand. If they are going to ask you the components in detail, they will be asking it from aggregate demand, not from aggregate supply, because they have reduced the aggregate supply. But why we need to understand this? Because numerical portion we have to do. But if you are not aware of what is aggregate supply, and at that moment you will be asking me, ma'am, what is Y plus C plus S, right? And I will be like, what to tell? So that's why I just gave you people a hint that yes, this is aggregate supply and these are the components, and because of that, this is Y equals to C plus S. Okay. So components and all that in detail you have to learn for aggregate demand. But yes, formula you have to learn for aggregate supply as well as for aggregate demand. Okay. So I'm giving you people 2 minutes from aggregate demand itself. Just quickly revise it and just go through your pages and let me know if you are not getting anything. Because in the next class, we'll start with the next like concept, which is the propensity to consume and all that. So in that case, if I'll be asking you question like what is Y equals to, and why Y is equals to AS and why not equals to your AD. So just go through it within 2 minutes and let me know if you're not getting any point or any confusion as well. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Any query or any issue?
No, ma'am. Everything is clear.
Okay. What about Aditya and Amos?
Yes, ma'am. Everything is clear except I'm a little confused about this aggregate supply and national income. They both are referred to as Y, no?
No. Wait. Okay, wait. So your aggregate supply is equals to your income. Okay. So see, you can either write aggregate supply or you can write Y. That's the thing. So Y is your income. So see, if you are talking about one individual, then you will take income. But if you're talking about the entire nation, you will be taking the national income, right? So don't get confused. See, you can either write it like this: AS equals to C plus S. Okay, or you can write it like this: Y equals to C plus S, because Y is your income, right? And it is your aggregate supply, right? So these are two things. So either you can use Y or you can use AS. Both are the same thing. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aditya, any query?